Dear President of Belgium Senate, Monsieur Armand Dedeker, dear Minister Landau, dear members of the European Parliament, Your Excellencies, dear members of Belgium government, dear presidents of Jewish communities, our dear brothers and sisters, dear ladies and gentlemen, our dearest friends. For me, of course, it's a great honor to receive such a distinguished gift. And I can tell you that I think this is a sign of appreciation granted not to me, definitely. It's the sign of appreciation which was given to all our movement, which is called the Jewish activity in Europe, to our mission, the recognition of our mission. Why this mission is important? Why the mission of diaspora, especially European diaspora, is so important? The mission of European diaspora is so important because it's a tragic mission. We are carrying on our shoulders the real historical experience of a nation which is living among 40-plus countries in Europe without our state. Fortunately, the last 60 years, we have our biggest insurance. It's the State of Israel. But we are still carrying on our shoulders and in our hearts the historical memory and the historical experience, which is extremely important and useful for all other nations living in Europe. This is the position which should be underlined and should be mentioned. And that's why we think that Jewish diaspora should be and has the right to be a trigger of many positive processes which could be realized in Europe. That's why we are saying Europe needs tolerance. Europe needs the development of institutions of tolerance. Europe needs the limits of tolerance. Because when we are speaking about all these things, we are speaking not only about diaspora, not only about State of Israel. We are speaking about the whole house, which is called not Office of Madame Raya, which is established today. We are speaking about European house, where we all live all our life and continue to live there, together with other nations. Not to spoil your appetite today, I promise you to be short. You see, it's a funny story. When, of course, it is not a surprise to me that I received such an honor. Please, Monsieur President, send my best words of appreciation to His Majesty. But I can tell you that it reminds me an interesting story. You know, when I was a little bit younger than just now, I was so much, entertained by reading a very famous book with a very famous name, Three Musketeers. Okay? Musketeers, written by Alexandre Dumas the father. Okay? And I remember when I first time knew that His Majesty granted me such a medal, I remembered that the same level of nobility was granted to D'Artagnan. And I feel today as at least 50% like D'Artagnan, not so young, but with the same nobility, let's say. This is funny thing, because, listen, I remember very well the stories which are vivid, which are still alive in my family, about victims of Holocaust. And today, I imagine if my grandmother, who was a victim of Holocaust in a small town in Ukraine, and I remember, and in our family, we lost at that very day when Nazis came to this very town. The name is not so well known. The name of this town is and was Zaporozhye. About 100 of my relatives were killed the first moment of occupation. And we remember in the family only two names. The name of my grandfather, his name was Avraham, and the name of my grandmother, her name was Kraina. And that's it. Nazis succeeded to erase the memory of my family from father's side. This is very important. They succeeded in this. And we are obliged, the Jewish diaspora of Europe has an obligation addressed to itself and addressed to other nations to be a trigger of positive processes and also to be the commemorator of the improvement of historical memory. And just to conclude, I want to pronounce some words which I wrote specially for this occasion. It's about Jewish vision, our Jewish vision, which is a result, I think, of this carrying all the time the historical destination. Jewish tradition has the idea of the blue tackled thread, which was included in the holy fabric of the talit shawl. However, it can only be seen by he who has a gift of seeing the future. Even they, the thread and the future, are hidden from our eyes. Active, secure tolerance is the tackled thread of the 21st century that will take to the road of eternity and prosperity. Thank you very much.